Welcome, warriors of metal. Today marks 55 years since Black Sabbath's debut unleashed metal upon the world. February 13th, 1970, when that first evil tritone in Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath from the album Black Sabbath shook civilization to its core with the very birth of heavy fucking metal. But warriors, what happened next? Who took that heaviness and forged it into the true metal movement? Let me tell you the true story, starting with the Vaknot, or top three of true metal, because Vaknot, three triangles, representing Odin, or some shit. Which of course also means we'll talk of the very first metal warrior. The origin, JON Thor, the metal god of thunder. While others were still figuring out what metal could be or couldn't be, JON Thor was already forging the path of the warrior in the mid-1970s, or rather closer to early. I don't know how to exactly explain it, but while pumping iron in the gym, the young Canadian champion, indeed, a glorious bodybuilder all oiled up with fucking chest oil, heard Black Sabbath and similar bands at the time in the weight room echoing through, and the vision was born. Thor knew something others didn't, that metal needed the power of real muscle behind it, not just imagery of strength, but true physical power and true warrior spirit. By 1973, he was already performing as Thor, the first to combine real bodybuilding strength, true warrior presence, and authentic feats of power, pure metal intensity. His muscle rock that followed laid the foundation for everything that would become true metal, while others just played guitars and whatever and shit. Thor bent steel bars with his teeth on stage, had concrete blocks or bricks hammer smashed on his freaking bare chest, blew up hot water bottles until they exploded, or balloons or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Proved that metal warriors must be strong in body and spirit. Albums like Keep the Dogs Away, 1977, Unchained, 1983, Only the Strong, 1985, The Edge of Hell, also known as the Rock and Roll Nightmare soundtrack. That's a great movie, by the way. Fucking watch it if you're a poser. 1986, Triumphant, 2003, Devastation of Musculation, 2006, and a modern album example, a more modern one, Alliance, 2021, where he collabed with Ross the Boss, by the way, each one showing the way for future metal warriors. And speaking of Ross the fucking Boss, we'll get to that in a second. But warriors, JON Thor is still crushing it today. He's still releasing albums, he's still maintaining warrior strength, still showing that true metal never dies, and he's in his freaking 70s, and he looks fucking better than 90% of you freaking 20-year-old metalheads. Now, secondly, the kings of metal, freaking Manowar, rises. Then came fucking Manowar, formed in 1980. They took Thor's vision of warrior metal and they added their own twist to it. Joey DeMaio, who arguably shreds bass with Mjolnir itself, met Ross the Boss, the most glorious guitarist ever, while working as a pyrotech for Black Sabbath. Destiny itself brought them together. Then joined Eric Adams with his war-crying Valhalla vocals. By the way, he's the best vocalist in my opinion. And they became a force to be reckoned with. By 1982, they unleashed battle hymns upon the world. After that, the drummer for that album, Donnie Hamzik, left, and Scott fucking Columbus joined with his drums of doom, pounding, making Manowar truly unstoppable. What followed was pure legend. Into Glory Ride, 1983. Hail to England, 1984. Sign of the Hammer, 1984. Fighting the World, 1987. Kings of Metal, 1988. And a modern album example, kind of underrated and kind of hated on for no reason, I would say Gods of Fucking War, 2007. Each album more powerful than the last. While others wore spandex and makeup, Manowar wore real leather armor, authentic freaking chest oil being anointed by Valkyries. Yes, they got bitches. Pure battle gear. When other bands turned down their amps, Manowar played on 10, even making it into the Guinness Book of World Records for the loudest, absolutely loudest metal performance, and performance probably in fucking general. Their battle cry, "Death to false metal," became the war cry of true warriors everywhere, and they of course still crush it today. Go fuck yourself, posers. Loathe some false ones, indeed. Now, speaking of that, the underground Vikings themselves, heavy load in their Nordic might. Meanwhile, in Sweden, heavy load was forging their own legend. Founded in 1976 by the Wahlquist brothers, they brought pure Viking steel to heavy metal before anyone else thought of combining Viking might with metal power. Heavy Load released frickin' heavy loads everywhere with albums like Full Speed at High Level in 78, Metal Conquest in 81, Death or Glory in 82, Stronger Than Evil in 83, and they made a huge comeback. Modern example, Riders of the Storm from 2023. They practically created the term Viking metal before it was even considered a genre, while others played at being Vikings and LARPed. Heavy Load are Vikings. And then, now that we're done with the Vaknuts, the real big four will be made by the hidden champion, Virgin Steele, and their barbaric romance. 1981, Virgin Steele, the freaking most glorious bastards besides Manowar and 4 and Heavy Load, added their own chapter to the true metal saga. David DeFeis and his warriors created barbaric romance, a unique blend of classical power, warrior strength, epic storytelling, and maximum metal glory. Their first demo was so powerful, it became their debut album, Virgin Steele, in 1982. That's right, they named the fucking album after themselves. Because that is fucking how good they are. And they went on to forge Guardians of the Flame, 1983, Noble Savage in 85, and another one, almost a decade over later, Invictus in 1998. And a modern or more modern album example would be Visions of Eden from 2006. And now that we're done with the actual big four of metal, because true metal shall crush all the loathsome false ones. Now we must have the honorable mention of the mighty Bathory and the Northern Darkness. Came Bathory in 83, Quorthon took the first wave of black metal into the ice-cold, frozen fucking north. But by 88's Blood, Fire, Death, he began forging a new path, Viking metal in its most pure form. The trilogy that changed everything would be Blood, Fire, Death in 88, Hammer Heart in 1990, Twilight of the Gods in 91. The legacy shall continue. This is our lineage, warriors. From Sabbath's first evil riff through Thor's pioneering of muscle metal, to Manowar, Heavy Load, and Virgin Steele, to the pure power of today. The timeline is clear. In 1970, Black Sabbath birthed metal in general. In 1973, John Thor created muscle rock / metal. In 76, Heavy Load forged Viking steel. In 1980, Manowar declared war on false metal. 81, Virgin Steele brought the barbaric romance. And then later in 1988, the most honorable mighty Bathory solidified Viking metal. And now, in 2025, my Ragnarok Revolution and Odinson continue this legacy. True metal lives through every warrior who trains and feasts with Thor's might, lives, hears justice in the true metal lifestyle by crushing fucking posers. Studies Wotan's ancient warrior wisdom, rides iron war horses like Wotan himself rides Sleipnir, makes Valkyries swoon with Freya's flirtation, and rejects Loki's legion of false metal lies because too many damn bands have strayed from the path of true metal, and I'm sure that fucking Black Sabbath isn't very happy. So you better double hammer smash that subscribe button and like button. Join the True Metal Warriors. The legacy of True Metal lives through us all. Death to all but True Metal. Glory to the True